Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I would like to present an initiative, a very local initiative undertaken in the last years in nearby, close to Bologna, in Ferrara. And my presentation will deal with citizen science and with open data or fair data. So I assume that the meaning, the definitions of both citizen science and on one side and fair data are known. If not, if someone is having some doubts, please raise your hand. Okay, so starting from the issue. The issue was and still is how to make citizen science local data to be fair, so to be findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And even though I received a message from the organizer saying skip the intro, I would like to give you a very, very brief intro because we are focusing on a small, medium-sized city called Ferrara that is 50 kilometers far from here. It is medium-sized in terms of population, but quite big in terms of land, in terms of square kilometers, with a lot of small villages all around, an urban area that is quite interesting in terms of size, a lot of green, and a lot of green to be preserved, to be managed, to be valorized, in particular both public and private green areas. So after this very, very brief presentation about the context, let's jump into the citizen science initiative Ferrara that involved in the last 2 years almost 250 people, citizens, volunteers, and we have here their names. Some of them were more active, some others a little bit less. But this initiative was just one part, a subset of a broader project called the Usage, that stands for Urban Data Space for Green Deal, funded by the Horizon Europe program, and dealing with environmental climate data to be collected, processed, and shared on the basis of this so-called FAIR principle. FAIR, for those that doesn't remind, the acronym stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And the idea was to have to create the conditions and implement in the 4 pilot cities, Ferrara plus the other 3, a local data space. Local data space can be depicted with this beautiful image here, or described in a more clear way with the definition provided by the Data Space Support Center glossary. So it is not a monolithic platform, but rather indeed it is a distributed system or an infrastructure for providing a secure and trustworthy data transaction between participants of the data space. So it relies on one or more infrastructures and enables one or more use cases. In the case of Ferrara, the translated definition was adapted and was included in a formal agreement that is represented in the last slide of my presentation. Of course, a lot of official data have been already provided and were already available in the Open Data portal of the municipality that is dati.comune.fe.it. Released with a Creative Commons by attribution license. And here we have a sort of mosaic of some of the official data, some of them coming from Usage project, some others thanks to other initiatives and also to the institutional activities of the municipality. Some of them were dealing with heat island, some other with flooding, and so on. Indeed, one of the initial and the original problems of the municipality and other partners, local partners, was that On Urbanite Island, flash flooding and biodiversity, there was a big lack of detailed information. That's why we identified as a possible solution from both technological perspective, but also organizational one, the idea of involving citizens in collecting data, so collecting data in a bottom-up approach. And the solution identified can be summarized in this sentence. Having open data, so breaking the silos that usually exist when talking about citizen science initiatives. A lot of citizen science initiatives do exist and already existed before usage project, but usually data collected through these initiatives remain siloed, remain hidden. So the idea was to have data collected in Ferrara to be integrated in the local data space, thanks also to a lot of standards for interoperability. The initiative that is also having a specific website, www.citizenscienceferrara.org, focused on the three domains, on the three themes that were also undertaken in the broader usage project. So Urbanite Island, flash flooding from heavy rains, and biodiversity. And a lot of preparatory materials, lectures with video presentation and also slides were collected in the initial phase of the initiative and put and made available in the citizenscienceferrara.org website, involving a lot of students, teachers, but also a lot of common people. Many experts were involved in preparing the knowledge. So we had experts in natural-based solutions, experts on biodiversity, Marco Falciano, that is a sort of eco-lawyer, so a lawyer expert on environmental activists, Salvatore Pappalardo, a professor from the geography department of the University of Padua. For each of the three themes, we used together with the citizens. So we proposed to use either open source or free solutions, mobile apps, or low-cost devices. The first one is a low-cost mobile sensor called Meteo Tracker. It was designed and it is commercialized by a Sardinian startup company. It is used and it is very, very useful for recording air temperature, relative humidity, and other climate conditions, climate parameters on movement, so riding a bike or just walking. And these data are then collected through proprietary APIs made available by metotracker.com endpoint, and can be, of course, represented like this. The second use case, the second theme is, as said before, flash flooding. This iconic picture was taken in August 2022. This is a square of the Renaissance area of Ferrara. A lot of rain fall down in very few minutes, and so the result is quite understandable in this picture. In this case, citizens were involved between 140 and 150 people, citizens, that reported also past events, past floods, using two different solutions. One is QField mobile app for, let's say, more techie people, more geeks people, while older people, so people already retired, for instance, that were the majority, that were not very used and also happy to install another app to be learned on their mobile, preferred a very simple and basic solution based on a Google form, where they reported not in a map, but through a simple survey, the areas, the information about the areas that were flooded during flash flooding events. The third theme, as said, is biodiversity. For biodiversity, thanks to the great knowledge of the Museum of Natural History of the municipality of Ferrara, we used an already robust and well-known solution, that is the iNaturalist platform, that is also providing a free of charge mobile app. And all these data at the end were collected through ingestion services using in particular Apache NiFi, and included in the official open data portal of the municipality. As far as I know, this is, at least in Italy, one of the first examples of institutional open data portals, so managed by a local authority, providing also citizen science data. And these data are provided also through interoperable protocols, in particular geographical protocols like Web Map Service Protocol or Web Feature Service Protocol, WMS and WFS, by the Open-geo-spatial Consortium, in order to make data interoperable in the reality. The open data portal of the municipality is already harvested by the regional one, that is harvested by the national one. That means that the same data that we can find within the municipal open data portal are also findable in the European open data portal. And this is an example of the air temperature detection, that is the dataset containing more or less 600,000 measurements undertaken only in 2024 with the MetoTracker device. I said interoperability, that means that thanks to WMS or WFS endpoints, GIS users like ones that are using QGIS may interact with the geographical server of the municipality that is providing the corresponding layer. And the same is happening within the municipality that is using, for instance, a web GIS platform. So the same information is published once, but used many times by different users. And I conclude and I finish my presentation highlighting the dark side of the moon. So on one side, we have the technological aspects. On the other one, the organizational ones. The organizational ones means that the municipality of Ferrara formally signed an agreement, a so-called atto costitutivo, with other partners. Some of them are private companies like Hera or Ferrara Tua, others are public bodies, local public bodies, in order to formalize the agreement for sharing information, in particular geographical, environmental information related to the area of Ferrara. And I highlighted here also that in the governance of this local data space, the civil society has been considered, of course. So in the upcoming management board of the data space, there will be representatives of formal associations of the civil society in order to maintain what we established thanks to the usage project, that is the synergies between citizen science initiatives that are aiming at collecting data from the bottom to be integrated in a more formal data space, so to be provided also through means and through mechanisms like open data portals of public bodies. And here we have a more technical document. I thank you, and if you are interested, the QR code should point, if correct, should point to the PDF version of the presentation. Thanks.